Hi friends, it's Deanna here today, and today we're sewing up the Kristen crisscross back hoodie, and I'm so excited about this hoodie. It's got such cute detail on the crisscross back, and the sleeves got this cute pleated detail as well. So let's get started. All right, I've got my pocket and my pocket band. So I'm gonna start with that, but I'm gonna put it aside. I've got my hood outer and liner and my hood strap here. I've got my sleeves and my cuffs. I've got my two backs, my front, and my waistband. We're gonna get started with our pocket band. We're gonna fold that band. We're gonna fold that band wrong sides together and give it a little steam. Then we can grab our band and fold it in half and mark the center. Do the same for your pocket. Fold it in half, mark the center. And then you can match up that center point. And you can go up to the top, just stretching lightly. And then down to the bottom, also stretching lightly. And we're gonna go ahead and sew those on. Once that's sewn, we're gonna go ahead and press our seam towards the pocket. And then we can go ahead and top stitch. I'm gonna use my cover stitch to top stitch. If you don't have a cover stitch, you can use a double needle or a zigzag stitch or I actually like to use a triple stitch to top stitch that down. So it looks nice and even, but you don't have to top stitch it down if you don't want to, but it gives it a really pretty look. All right, once I'm finished with that, I'm just gonna trim so that my pockets are straight here on the edges. And kind of, I like to get rid of all these threads. So like make sure that this is straight. So if you have any pieces hanging out right here, just so it fits nicely there. Okay, and then I'm going to fold the top 3/4, well, the top and the bottom 3/4 of an inch. Top, bottom, and sides. Now we're gonna grab our front bodice. We're gonna fold it, mark our center, so we can add our pocket. And do the same for our pocket. Fold it in half. And mark your center. And then we're going to match up. You all just noticed what I did, right? I did not need to steam the bottom. I don't know why I steamed the bottom. The bottom gets attached at the bottom, so that doesn't need to be steamed, just the sides and the top. I don't know what I was thinking. Anywho, you don't need to steam the bottom. That has to lay flat. I'm just gonna clip it flat here at the bottom where they're going to attach to the band at the bottom. But the sides do have to be tucked in here, and you're gonna, whoop, there goes my scissors. You're gonna top stitch this down to the bodice. Again, I'm going to use my cover stitch, or we can use a zigzag stitch or any kind of stretch stitch on your sewing machine to attach to top stitch these on. Fold that top down. Make sure that seam allowance is in my 3/8 inch. And we're gonna top stitch that down. All right, so now that we're done attaching that pocket, we're gonna grab this bottom piece. And if you wanna go ahead and baste it together, you can baste the pocket down first. Then we're gonna grab our band and we're gonna fold it wrong sides together and fold it. And then we're going to stretch it to fit the bottom of our bodice. I like to clip here at the one end and then clip here at the other end. So that way I can kind of get it situated there. And then clip at the bottom. Then we're gonna go ahead and sew that on. All right, I'm gonna remove those clips and steam my seam towards my bodice. And then if you want to, you can go ahead and top stitch. Again, if you don't want to top stitch, you don't have to, that is up to you. I like the top stitched look on my hoodies. So I will go over there and attempt to top stitch, and hopefully my cover stitch doesn't freak out on me again. Okay, so we're gonna grab our back pieces, and as you can see, here's my shoulder, here's my neckline, and here's my other side. And this kind of curved edge here is going to get hemmed at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So we're gonna do that for both sides. We're gonna fold 1/2 inch and hem. Now we're gonna go ahead and grab our backs, place them right side up here on our mat or board, whatever. And we're going to match here the shoulders. So we wanna match that neckline. So we're gonna place them together here, matching those necklines. And we're gonna baste this neckline using a long straight stitch on my sewing machine. I'm gonna use the longest setting, so that way you can match them here. And I'm also going to go down to the edge of here and down to the edge here. So that's matched together. Now, if you want to do this now, you can go ahead and tack, put like a tack here. If you don't want it to open, you can like put a little tack here so it's closed. You can do that at the end after you try it on and you see if, you know, how open you want it. So that's up to you if you want to put a little tack here. I'm not going to do it right now. If I want to do it later, I'll put it on later. That doesn't need to be done right now, but I'm going to baste here all the way around the neckline and down the other side. Now we're going to place our back face up here on our table, and then we're going to grab our front and we're going to match up those shoulders and sew those shoulders right sides together here at the top raw edge. I'm going to sew that on my serger. You can use any kind of stretch stitch, but remember this is a knit pattern, so you'll need to use, if you're using your sewing machine, you'll need to make sure that you're using a stretch stitch. Okay, and I'm gonna also go ahead and prep my sleeve. Now if you're doing short sleeve, you'll fold that and hem it, but I am doing the long sleeve, so I have my sleeve marked. I've got my mark here of my back, my center. This will be my front. And here at the bottom, I have I did a little slit right here where my pleat is. And so I'll have the same pleat on the other side. So I'm gonna go right here and mark, see where I made like a little slit right there to show me where my pleat's gonna be. And then I'm gonna go right on that mark and I'm gonna do a basting stitch about 1 inch up from that mark. So we're gonna go starting at that mark and we're gonna go 1 inch up with just a basting stitch you'll remove later. So that will be prepped for the next step. And that's at the bottom of the sleeve. So you know you've got your markings here for the top of your sleeve, and then you got your markings here at the bottom of the sleeve, and that's where you're going to do that basting stitch. All right, now for our sleeve, we're gonna grab right here where we sewed up that inch, and we're going to kind of, hold on, let me show you. So I've got my inch here sewn up. We're gonna open kind of that up, and here where the excess is, we're gonna open it up and spread it over that inch. So like you can see it right here, it's kind of spread out and it creates this little pleat here. And then down here at the bottom, we're going to baste it. So I'm gonna give it a little steam here, and we're going to put in a basting stitch here, so that way when we go sew it, it's basted together and it ends up closed here. I'm gonna do that for the other sleeve as well. So we're gonna grab it down here at the bottom, and we're gonna open up that area where we stitched. Kind of open it up. You can even see right here from you can open it like this and then give it a little steam. Match up the raw edge at the bottom and clip it here. And we're gonna go over and put in a basting stitch there to keep it together, so when you go sew your sleeve on. Now, at the same time that I'm going to do that, I'm gonna grab my bodice here, at the shoulder seam. And if you're doing the sleeveless version, you would fold this and top stitch. Since I'm doing the sleeve, I'm gonna grab my sleeve, figure out which one's the back. So obviously the one with the folds is the back. Find my sleeve, the one that has the mark for the back, match the back to the back, the center here, the center seam, right sides together, and we're going to attach the sleeves on. Alrighty, so that should be done there. I've got my next step ready there to install, but the first thing we're gonna do is sew up the sides. So we're gonna grab our bodices, our bodice front and back, and we're gonna match up. We're gonna match up here at the sleeve, where the sleeve, the armpit seam is here. And we're gonna go all the way down the sleeve, right sides together. And then all the way down the bodice, right sides together. You're gonna match up the end of the front bodice with the end of the back bodice here. And you're going to do, when you sew it off, you'll have to tuck in that tail later if you're using a serger. And we're gonna do the same on the other side. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and sew that. Now, if you have a neckband, you'll be prepping your neckband, and if you need help prepping your neckband, we have a video here on our channel on how to do neckbands, but I'm going to be doing a hood. So I'm going to do the lined hood, so I'm going to add grommets. If you can see, I marked my hood here. I should be marking it on the wrong side, but I marked the wrong side of one of them and the right side of the other one. I don't know why, but we're gonna put a little interfacing on the wrong side of the fabric where the mark is and attach that. Then you're gonna grab your grommets and you're going to attach them as per manufacturer's instructions. Okay, so I've got my little tools here and I'm going to rip a little hole and place my grommet through. Then I'm gonna place it on my little tool and put the other side on, put my tool on here, and then hammer it together. But I'm not gonna do it right here because I don't wanna mess up my table, but that's what I'm gonna do. So let's go do that on both sides so we can get those grommets installed and then sew up the sides. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and grab my hoods. My grommets are on there. If you're doing the lined version, you're gonna have 2 of these. If you're doing the unlined version, then you will have just 1 set. But whatever version you're doing, you're going to go ahead and match up the crown of the hood here, right sides together. And we're going to sew around that whole top round side right there. We're gonna do that for the lining ones and for the outers. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and grab our hood and we're gonna turn our, one of them right side out and the other one we're gonna keep inside out because we're gonna fit them into each other. And we're gonna match up here where the crown, the top of the hood is right here. And we're gonna go all the way down the face part of the hood, right sides together, matching up those seams, those edges. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and sew that all the way around. Then we'll top stitch that, do our cuffs or our drawstring, and we're done. We're almost done. All right, so now we're gonna turn our hood right side out and steam around that front of the hood. I like to have a little bit of my under showing, like my lining showing. I just think it's kind of cute when there's a little bit of that showing there. And then I'm gonna go and top stitch on the outside of the grommet all the way around to create the casing to insert our drawstring through. All right, so now we're gonna grab our hood and we're gonna overlap it by 1 inch. So if you look here, just gonna overlap it here and put in a basting stitch right here to overlap. Okay, and then at the same time that I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and grab and prep my drawstring. And well, actually, well, we don't have to, but we can. We're gonna fold it right sides together, right sides together, and sew it all the way down. Y'all, we're almost done. We just have to attach to our neckband, to our neck area, and then attach our cuffs, and we'll be done. That's it. Okay, I'm also going to prep my cuffs by folding wrong sides together at the short raw edge over here and sewing them up. All right, I'm gonna put this other things aside. I'll work on them in a minute. I'm gonna grab my neck area and we're going to quarter that. So we're gonna match up our shoulders and then go to the back and mark our half right here. I like to do like a little snip to mark it and then do the same to the front shoulders, then go to the front. Then we're gonna match up the front and the back and then go to the sides. It's kind of close to where the, maybe not. Just make sure that you mark those because I think people think that sometimes the shoulders are the side seams, but they're not. I'm just gonna turn this inside out so that way I can grab my hood and do the same thing to it. Match my back seam here with my front seam, with the front where it overlaps, and then go to the sides so we can mark my quarters on my hood. And then I'm gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna take this tail off because it's gonna get in my way and annoy me. Okay, and we're gonna match up here that back seam. Make sure that the back seam of the liner and the outer are together. And I'm gonna make my hood go inside my neckline here. And remember the back seam, this back seam is gonna go with the back of the hood, of the hoodie. So just go to the back, match up right sides together there. Then the side, the quarter point, will match up to the quarter point of the bodice here. And then the front will match up with the front of the bodice here. And then the other side. And we're going to go ahead and sew that on right here. And at the same time that I'm sewing that on, I'm gonna go ahead and attach my cuffs as well. So I've got my bottom here all basted together. I've got my pleat here. I'm gonna grab my cuff. I'm gonna fold it wrong sides together. Match up the raw edges here at the top. And I'm gonna kind of mark my half of my wristband here. Okay, and I'm going to match up the seam to the seam here in the back, and then where this front pleat is here to the front of the cuff, like where the center is. And then we're gonna stretch lightly our cuff to fit. And we're gonna do the same for the other one. And then we'll be finishing that up, turning this around, putting it in, and we'll be done. We're almost there. Now we just need to pull all these basting stitches off. Kind of looks like a face with a mustache. That's so funny. And okay, does it not? Eyes. That's like a little mole, and then this is his mouth. That's so funny. All right, we're gonna grab our cord for our drawstring. Couldn't think what the word was. And we're gonna turn it right side out. I'm using a turning tool. You can use a turning tool. You can use a clothespin. Whatever you want to use to turn it around. And once you turn it, you're gonna grab a some kind of pin or something. Make sure it fits through this. This one doesn't, so we gotta grab a smaller one. And we're going to fit it, or our turning tool. I actually have a tool that I'm supposed to do this with, but I forget to use it. I'm just so used to using these. And then you're just gonna fit it right through and pull that drawstring all the way around. All right, once it's pulled all the way around, we're gonna tie a couple knots at the front, and then so that it's not gonna go through those grommets. And we are finished. I'm gonna go try it on and show you what it looks like. Oh, I forgot one more thing. Right here where with these, we have this tails. I'm gonna tuck in that tail towards the back and then go to my sewing machine and zigzag stitch it down. So it's kind of tacked down right there. All right, so I'll move that towards the back and just do like a little tacking zigzag stitch there. And I'll tack that seam and everything down. And then that way it's nice and flush. All right, we are done with this hoodie. I think it turned out really super cute, especially the back. I really, really like that little detail. And the sleeve, like I think I might do the sleeve on some other stuff too, because I think it's adorable. And here's my hoodie. So cute. You can't see the face anymore, so I mean, it's there, just it's not as noticeable. I think it's super cute. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please come and like, share, subscribe if you haven't so you never miss any of our tutorials. Go grab this pattern, come back and sew it up with me, and I'll see you all next time.